Hi friends, this is Anuj Thaplial and today I will teach you the basics of Microsoft Excel. Okay, the very first thing is you must have installed the Microsoft Office package on your system. Okay, it must be in your system. If you go to all programs, you will see Microsoft Office. Okay, so this package is installed in my system. Now on desktop you can right click new and you will see Microsoft Office Excel worksheet. You can click on it, name it Excel Basics. I named it. I'll double click on it and it will open. So this is Microsoft Excel. This is a spreadsheet. The extension of Microsoft Excel is .xls. It was for it was the extension for 2003 version, but for the 2007 version of Microsoft Office, the extension of Excel is .xlsx. Okay, at the last we have X. So we start now about the basics of the Excel. Now you can see there are so many rectangular boxes we have. Okay, we have box, we have this box. There are so many boxes we have. Later on I'll tell you how many boxes we have vertically, horizontally. Okay, so these rectangular blocks are called a cell. This is a cell. This is also a cell. This is also a cell. So these are cells, and each cell can contain any type of value. Let's say for example this cell can contain characters A to Z. It can contain numeric values 0 to 9. Okay, it can contain special symbols dollar, hash, asterisk. Okay, logical operators means anything we have in on our keyboard. This cell can contain anything. Okay, and each cell in this Excel spreadsheet, each cell is having its own specific address. Each cell is having an address. For example, this cell is having an address F11. You can see F11. When you click on any cell, the address of that cell will highlight with this yellow color. Okay, I at the top and 6 at the left. Okay, so address of this cell is I6. Address of this cell is L4. Okay, so in this way each cell is having a specific address. This cell is having an address E9. This cell is having an address P13. And remember, we will always call address by character first. We will never say 13P. We will say P13. Character will come first. P13 is the address of this cell and C7 is the address of this cell. Now we'll start with the very basic thing, that is a table. We know what exactly a table is. 5 into 1 is equals to 5. 5 into 2 is equals to 10. 5 into 7 is equals to 35. So we want to create a table of 5. Okay, we are starting from the grassroots level. Now 5, I want a table of 5, and once you wrote anything in this table in a cell and you want it on n number of cells, what you can do, you can drag it. How to drag? You can see once you select the cell, this cell is selected. At the right hand side bottom you can see a small square, black square. You can take your cursor over it and drag it. So this value 5 will be carried over to all the cells. Now I want the variable to be multiplied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. At this column I want output. I will write here output. Okay, so this is our output. Now here I want output, that is 5 into 1 is 5, 5 multiplied by 3 15, 5 multiplied by 7 that is 15, 35. We want output in this cell. So how we can write output? Either we know output or we directly write here 5 into 5, 5 into 2 that is equals to 10. But if we already know the output, what is the use of this Excel? Why we write on Excel if we already know each and everything? We want that Excel must calculate it for us. Now we want Excel to calculate, so we have to use some functions. Functions are formulas. The basic, as we know, the formulas. So in Excel we call that function. So we have two type of functions. One is absolute functions and second one is relative functions. We have two types of functions, absolute functions and relative functions. Firstly, I am going to apply this absolute function. Okay. Now, whenever we are going to apply a function in Excel spreadsheet, the first thing we have to enter that is equals to. Once you enter equals to in a cell, the spreadsheet, the Excel came to know that yes, we are going to apply a function, a formula in this cell which will calculate something. Okay, so the first thing is we have to enter equals to. Now in this absolute addressing, we take values from the cell. For example, here I want output of the multiplication of 5 and 1. So I will write 5 into 1 and I will enter. So I will get the output. Here I will write 5 equals to 5 into 2. I will enter. I will get the output. Here equals to 5 into 6, enter. I'll get the output. But you can see I have to write this function equals to 5 into 6 many times. If I have to calculate 10 times, so 10 times I have to write this function. Okay, it will once I applied the function, it will not work for each and every record or each and every row. So this is absolute addressing where we take values from the addresses. Okay, you know we have taken this value 5 and then this value 6 and then we applied it over here 5 into 6 and we enter and we get the output. But what if we have n number of, suppose thousands of records or hundreds of records? In that case, if I will apply function and I'm writing function each time, this is not a good practice. So what I will use relative addressing or relative functions. Okay. Now what is relative addressing? In relative addressing, taking instead of taking values from the cell, we call addresses. Okay, so here we want output of the multiplication 5 and 1. These are the two values we have, 5 and 1, and we want output over here. So what I did earlier in absolute functions, absolute addressing, I wrote 5 and then I wrote 1. But now in relative addressing, I will not write 5 and 1. Instead, I will write address of these cells. As I know, the address of this 5 is D4 and address of this 1 is E and E4. So firstly, I will enter equals to, because I am going to apply a function, a formula equals to, and I can type the address D5 or D4. Okay, as you type D4, the address and that cell will be highlighted. You can see with this blue color, this cell is highlighted. Okay, but if you don't want to type address, you can just click on it. Address will come by default. D4, I want multiplication with this cell, the value having 1, but the address of this one is E4. So I will click on it, E4. So here what I am doing, I am not giving values, instead I am giving the addresses, and whatever be the values inside these addresses will get multiplied and I will get the answer 5. Okay, d4 into e4, 5 into 1 is equals to 5. Now the beauty of this relative addressing is I do not have to type this function for each and every cell, for each and every record, for this record, for this record, for this record, for this row, for this row, for this row. I don't have to type each and every time. Once I have applied the function, what I will do, I will drag it. You can see again this selected cell 5. Okay, at the right hand side bottom, a small square, take your cursor over it and drag it, so you will get output. Now if you go to this one, this cell, you will see the multiplication it has done a spreadsheet for us, that is d8 into e8. D8 is this one, blue one, d8 value 5 and e8 value 5, that is d8 into e8 25. For this cell, double click 5 into 8, that's it, D11 and E11. It has by default, relatively it has taken addresses of each rows we have selected for the table. I guess this is clear to all. Okay, so in relative addressing we do not have to type a function each time. Once you applied the function, just drag it. Now you might remember that from this 1 to 10, what I did, I typed each and every one. 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, so using relative addressing, I can put these numbers in increasing order. How? I'll tell you. I typed 1. Now at the below cell, I will type equals to, I will take address of this above cell 1, and this 1 is having address I4. Okay, the address of this cell is I4, 1. I4 plus 1. Actually what I want at this cell, I want 2, which is addition. I have added 1 to the value to the above cell. So I have taken the address of this above cell 1, that is I4 plus 1. Enter, you will get 2. Okay, and once you applied this, you can drag this, you will get the value. If you click on it, you will see I9 plus 1. I9 is the 6 plus 1, 7. Click on it. I11 plus 1. I11 is 8. 8 plus 1, 9. So I want 9 here. Okay. So in this way, you can use in your interest this relative addressing. So commonly we use this relative addressing. Now I'll tell you how to apply basic function. Okay. To apply a basic function, let us suppose we want addition of some numbers. I want to add them. I want to sum them. So we have Excel provided us with functions. So like sum function we have. So to apply a sum function, you have to apply equals to. One more thing, we will apply function to the cell in which we want output. Okay. Suppose I want output at this cell, that is F15. F15. I want output at this cell, so I will apply function over here. Equals to sum. This is the syntax of sum function. Sum bracket open, and Excel is guiding us with the syntax, that is sum number 1 comma number 2. If we have numbers, we have to pick numbers randomly. Let's say this one, this 5, that is D4. It is taking, these functions are also using relative addressing. Okay, these are taking addresses, not values. Sum not sum bracket 5. 5 is not here. Instead of 5, we have taken the address of that cell, that is D4. D4 comma. Now I want this 20. I'll click on it. F7, address of 20 comma. I want this 5, address is D10 comma this 45. Okay, and close the bracket. BODMAS rule. Enter. You will get the output 75. What I did, equals to sum D4, F7, F10, F12. To these addresses I want the addition, so I applied some function, and these are the addresses separated by commas. You can see, you can select as many addresses you want. Okay, but what if the numbers are in a continuous form? Continuous form means I want addition of this column where the numbers are starting from this cell having value 5 and ending at the cell value 50. So this is called a range. When the values or cells we have selected, they are in a continuous form, that is called a range. So this range is starting from this cell having address F4 and ending at address F13. F13 and starting from F4. So how we depict range? F4 colon F13. Okay, so we show range by typing this F4 colon F13. So this is a range which is telling us that range is starting from F4 and ending at F13. Okay, so we can apply this range inside sum function. Equals to sum bracket. You can type as well, you can type the range, or the best thing is you select the range. Take your mouse and select the range. By default it will be done for you. F4 colon F13, this is a range. Close the bracket and so we got the output 275. Range can be in vertical form, it can be horizontal, it can be in a matrix form. This was also a range. This is also a range 515, and this is also a range. This is a matrix range. starting from this cell D4 and ending at 50, that is F13. Okay, if I want the output of this matrix range, again I have to apply some function, sum bracket, and the only thing I have to do is to select the range. Select the range, bracket close. So you can see D4 to F13. D4 is this 5, 50 is F13. So the range is starting from D4 and ending at F13. You will enter, you will get the output. So this is our sum function. Now in the same way, we can apply product function as well. If I want a multiplication equals to product black bracket, again if you want to pick values randomly like this 5 comma this 35 comma this 5 comma this 9, close the bracket, enter, you will get the output 7895. In the same way, if you want output of range, again equals to product, and you can select a range, let's say from D4 to F7, D4 to F7, bracket close, enter. See, you are getting output in this form because the output is so big, it this cell is not so wide to contain that value, so you can wide this, increase the cell length, and the value will come. So this is the output. Clear. Now one more thing, we can range a name. You can name a range. Let's say if I'm working over here, I'm doing something and I want this range. So each time I cannot remember that this range starts from F4 and end at F13. This is not possible. For one or two cases we can remember, but for n number of cases we cannot remember ranges from where it is starting, where it ends. So that is why we can range a name. For example, I'm going to name this range 5 to 15. Select the range and here at the name box click and type the name for the range. Let's say range 1. Enter. For sum. Okay. Sum 1. Okay. So I'm going to name this range my name Anuj. Enter. So this I've given name to this range Anuj, and I'm going to name this range also and Bob, B-O-B. Enter. So this range is named as Bob and this range is named as Anuj. Now at bottom somewhere, if I'm doing some function equals to sum, now each time I will not go and see the range starting from F13, F4 and ending at F13. No. What I will do, I will simply write Bob. Enter. Once you type Bob, that range will be selected. And if you enter, you will get the output. In the same way, if you write sum bracket my name Anuj bracket close, and if you enter, you will get the output. Okay, so this is the basic of Excel. In the next video, we will discuss some other functions. Please like, share and subscribe if you like the video.